Welcome to the patch notes overview for 3.20 Cyber Sentinel. The patch is coming out for PC players on October 25th and will be available the following week for console players. Let's jump right in with the new skins coming out in 3.20. First up, Scylla gets a high-tech makeover with her new prototype skin. This skin also features an update for her dogs and FX. And speaking of Scylla, both her and Rom are getting their mastery skins updated this patch. Arachne is also getting a new skin with Tormentula. This skin features updated FX and a new voice pack and will be available in the Odyssey. Rep your favorite esports teams with the new Luminosity and Soar bundles. The Luminosity bundle contains a ward and the new Luminosity Susanoo, and the Soar bundle contains a ward and the Soarbeck skin. Rom is also getting a new elf-inspired skin this patch with Nature's Guardian. And last, but certainly not least, we're releasing Warlord Kumbhakarna in 3.20. This apocalyptic warrior skin features lots of gritty detail, but my personal favorite update is his new emote. And speaking of emotes, we're introducing a new dance this patch for Anubis. We're also releasing a new cutesy icon, Cutesy Jiangqi. Let's move on to the Odyssey. As I've already mentioned, Prototype Scylla and Tormentula Arachne will be purchasable in the Odyssey, as well as a brand new, very special announcer pack, the Lore Lady. Pick up Odyssey items or complete Odyssey quests to unlock the newest Odyssey reward, the Odyssey Pedestal. And for those of you who have already reached the amount of points necessary, it'll automatically unlock when 3.20 hits. We'll also be giving out a free cutesy chest roll with 3.20 to everyone who currently has Odyssey points as an apology for the exclusive and limited item confusion. Next, let's talk about a few miscellaneous updates. Personal wards will now show up green on the minimap and will pulse 30 seconds before expiring. So you'll now be able to tell easily which wards are yours and when they're running out. Jungle Practice now has 2 pads that reset cooldowns and change teams. And all summon pets will now have a timer displayed under their health bar. Now let's move on to item changes. Emperor's Armor gets a cost reduction, Heatseeker's passive buff now applies a 15% attack speed buff as well, and Stone Cutting Sword also gets a cost reduction. Voidstone gets its cost reduced and magical protections increased. Next, let's move on to god changes. Elpwash is getting a few adjustments this patch. His base health, health per level, and movement speed are all increased. Undead Surge and Corpse Explosion get a decreased mana cost, and finally, Empty the Crypts gets a reduced mana cost, reduced casting time, and increased recovery time. Amu's and Cub's Hives get a few changes this patch. Hives now reveal all enemy gods within 20 units to allies, and they have an increased radius and reduced mana costs. Bacchus's Belch gets an increase to his healing reduction debuff. Camazotz gets a few buffs this patch. Screech's cooldown is reduced. Vampire Bats now has separate effects for both slow and damage over time and new effects. And finally, Bat Out of Hell gets an increased duration and now passes through player deployables. Callie's Marked for Death now has a menu where Callie can select her first target. Serket's Last Breath will now only go on cooldown if that ability hits a target. And lastly, Thanatos' abilities now cost percentage of current health, not total health, and his Soul Reap has an adjusted silence duration. And that's everything for the patch notes overview for 3.20 Cyber Sentinel. The patch notes are